Raise your hand if you're excited that it's Friday. Happy Friday. Oh, no. Wow, I completely failed on assuming how much coffee I needed to make. I always do that. It's so hard. So if you're wondering what all that ruckus is, I just made a cup of coffee, and now I'm headed back into my office to sit down and discuss this video. Welcome to Pigknit. Hang on, let me get started here. If you're not familiar with my channel, my name is Jessie. Nice to meet you. I am an illustrator and I like to draw stuff and talk about it. For those of you who are not from planet Earth, Pokemon Go is a new app that has been sweeping the nation, and of course I'm on board because Pokemon was a big part of my childhood. I remember when the movie came out and we watched it at the drive-in, and ever since then we were watching it on TV. Every single day I'd come home from school, make a Fluffernutter sandwich, and watch Pokemon. It was like my ritual. I think I was in 5th grade. I just love habit. I love doing the exact same thing all the time. With the release of Pokemon Go, I was first worried. As some of you may know, I just recently bought a 3DS and I got Pokemon X because it's been a while since I've had some Pokemon in my life. So then this app comes out and I was like, oh man, I just wasted all that money on the DS. But actually, it wasn't a waste of money because, as many of you may know, it is nothing like the game, pretty much. So I was grateful for that. Of course I downloaded it. It's making me all Pokemon feels lately, so I wanted to do... My goal today was just to do simplified versions of 20 Pokemon. I picked 20 because that's how many squares were in my grid. I just picked ones that I liked, and I picked them from the original 150. But this video proved to be sort of difficult because the lighting was not my friend today. Today in Buffalo, it is crazy windy. We've had a really windy summer and I don't know why. What gives? There's some crazy weather going on in this part of the United States, but I like to use a lot of natural light if I can. I'm not a huge fan of that bluish, whitish ring light look. Someday maybe I'll switch to that, but right now I just kind of like using natural light and maybe a lamp or two. So while I was doing this, the wind was blowing and the sun kept going in and out between clouds. And every time I lift up my arm, the lighting would get really washed out. So I basically had to go through and like cut out every single time that would happen. So you can see the lighting kind of flickering, but it is a lot better than it was before. So I'm just grateful that it sort of turned out. I might want to list this on Etsy. It probably will scan pretty nicely and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. So if I do end up doing that, what I'm probably going to do is link the listing in the description box when I post this video. So I'm probably going to have this video out tomorrow, which will be Saturday morning. And I guess what I'll try to do is see if I can get that listed as a print option if it works out. Keep an eye out for it. So far, I've been really enjoying Pokemon Go. Obviously, it's got a lot of limitations, but I definitely really like the potential. I definitely really love the social aspect of it. I like that they didn't bother to tell anybody how to play it. They were just like, here you go, enjoy. And so basically everybody's like wandering around aimlessly trying to figure out this game. Like nobody knows how some things still work. It's, you know, people have come with ideas for what they think will, you know, oh, this does this and this does this, but then other people are like, no, I tried it and it didn't work for me. So I'm still trying to get a handle of it too. My area is pretty good for catching Pokemon. It's not amazing. I see people online that live in like more populous areas that obviously have so many options and they live right by water, so they get all sorts of water Pokemon, and it definitely makes me excited to see how the Pokemon will differ as I travel. So when I go to Justin's house in Pennsylvania, I'm hoping maybe, since it's a little more like hilly and mountainous, perhaps I'll catch some rock Pokemon because I hardly get any in my area. So I'm definitely having a really good time. If you are playing Pokemon Go, are you enjoying it? What are some of the things that you like and don't like about it? I definitely will say, this might sound harsh, but right now I feel like it's a glorified Pokédex. Basically, the goal is just to be catching as many Pokemon as you can, as many different kinds. Obviously, taking over gyms, but I feel like once you're able to start battling each other and leveling up that way, like I can't wait until we can have friends on the app. I'm assuming they'll do this. I don't know why they wouldn't, because that would be really mean, because my next door neighbor has it and I want to be his friend on the app so I can see how good he's doing. I want to be able to see how many Pokemon everyone's caught so we can compare and then compete for the best Pokemon catcher. I think when that starts happening, the game's going to be like amazing. Basically, you know, it obviously glitches out a lot right now and everybody's upset about that, but at the same time, nobody really cares. Like, people are upset, but at the same time, I was just telling Justin earlier, Justin is my husband, for those of you who don't know, I was like, if this were any other app, no one would put up with how often this crashes. Nobody. But since it's Pokemon and since it's so popular, people are just like, oh yeah, the servers crashed again. Whoops, we'll just wait and try again. I think they've definitely got that on their good side, but I'm definitely excited to see where this goes because I kind of feel like it can only get better and better. So every time that there's an update, I just download it because I'm like, oh my god, new things in life. So I was pretty happy with how these turned out. I was surprised. The ones that I didn't like the most were like Charmander. Wasn't a big fan of how Charmander turned out. Surprisingly enough, I was happy with how the Raticate turned out because I was like drawing it and I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad. This is not going well. And then when I was done, I was like, actually, I kind of like that one. Like, it was one of my favorites. And I thought like Horsey would be one of my favorites because I love drawing seahorses, but I wasn't really thrilled with how Horsey turned out. I made Horsey bigger than Psyduck. I don't know why I did that. I was also pretty pleased with my Tentacool. Let me know in the comment section below. First of all, two things. Let me know two things. Then I'll know you made it this far in the video. 1, who's your favorite Pokemon in general? And 2, which of these drawings was your favorite? For me, I'm gonna say I was pretty happy with how Raticate turned out. One of my favorite Pokemon growing up was Psyduck for no reason at all. I bought this like vinyl figure that talked or something. I don't really remember. Some vinyl something, and they didn't have a lot of options, so I chose Psyduck, and then I was like, Psyduck's my favorite. If you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll give him a mullet. Ooh, yeah. Now it almost looks like a woman with a beard.